All right, so get ready because we are diving deep, deep, deep into the cosmology of Yeivon today.
Basically, we're taking someone's imagination and using it like blueprints to explore a whole new universe, you know?
It's pretty amazing. And what I love about these deep dives is that um, we get to explore a world with its own set of rules, its own history.
Absolutely. And the more we kind of peel back the layers of this cosmology we're looking at today, the more we see how elegantly structured it all
I
is.
know, right? And there's a lot to unpack. But you know what? There's no need to buckle up for total chaos or anything. On the Cosmos side of Yeivon, it's all about order. And it all starts with these fascinating places called the pure gray
These
realms.
realms are like the cosmic bedrock of Lievon, the foundation on which everything else is built. They're the oldest realms brought into existence by, well, by two incredibly powerful beings. We're talking, of course, about the Eternal and the Eldest.
Okay, so foundations. What kind of foundations are we talking about exactly? Are we talking like physical structures or something a bit more abstract?
Think of it more as the foundations of reality itself, foundational concepts. Concepts like time, knowledge, creativity, even virtue.
Oh, okay.
Each pure gray realm, each one embodies one of these core concepts. And and each one is home to a powerful entity called a distortion.
A distortion. Okay, that sounds a little intense. What does that even mean? Can you give us an example? Like what kind of entity would embody, I don't know, time, for example?
Okay, so imagine a realm called Chronosophia, where time and knowledge are eternally intertwined. And picture this.
What?
It's not a linear progression of time, but like a mesmerizing figure eight.
Hold on. Time, Andy, knowledge, all in one place. That just sounds like a recipe for a massive headache to me.
It might be if you were just wandering through, but it's actually quite elegant the way it's all structured. So one loop of the figure eight that
Yeah.
represents the flow of time in the grays, and it's been meticulously recorded since the very beginning.
Oh, wow. So it's like a cosmic recording of everything that's ever happened.
Precisely. And not just a passive recording. This is an active, ever evolving tapestry of cause and effect, you see. It's like a cosmic domino trail, stretching all the way back to the dawn of this universe.
Okay, so every action, every decision, every consequence, it's all connected.
All woven together.
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get a headache just thinking about it. But you said time, ND, knowledge. So what about the other loop? The other loop of the figure eight.
Ah, yes. The other loop, that, my friend, is where knowledge resides. It's pure, unadulterated information, meticulously curated by the knowledge lord.
Okay.
Now imagine the point where those two loops intersect. That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, you've got my attention. This intersection, tell me more.
This is where the ribbon exists. Imagine like a shimmering, ethereal tapestry. It's woven from threads of time and knowledge. And it's at the central point, this intersection, where you could theoretically pinpoint any moment in the Gray's vast history and instantly access all the knowledge associated with it.
It's like a cosmic library.
Where the past isn't just recorded, it's completely accessible.
Precisely. And remember, this is just one of the pure gray realms.
Just one. There are more. So there are more of these realms, each representing a different fundamental concept.
Precisely. And these realms aren't just random pockets of existence. They're the bedrock. This is the very fabric of reality as these beings have created it.
Okay, so we've got this incredible time-bending library. Where do we go from here? What other foundational concepts do we need to understand to really grasp this whole universe?
Well, you can't build a universe without some basic building blocks, right? That's where the elemental realms come in. These realms, they embody the essential elements that shape and define the cosmos as we know it.
Okay, so we're talking like classic elements here, earth, air, water, fire, that kind of thing.
You got three out of four. Earth, air, and water, they're indeed crucial elements, and each one is represented by its own unique realm. Fire, however, fire enters the picture a little bit later. But here's what I find fascinating. The names of these realms, they're not just random. They offer really subtle clues about the essence of the realms themselves. We're
Oh,
talking air levitas for air, aqua fluentia for water, and a terra fundus for earth.
oh, I'm already noticing a pattern here. Latin roots. Very clever.
Indeed.
So air levitas levitas making me think of levitation, right? So is that about the freedom of air, how it's always moving and changing, never confined?
Spot on. Air levitas embodies that very essence of freedom of form. It's always shifting, flowing, evolving. It's the realm of possibilities, of boundless potential.
Okay, I like it. And if I'm interpreting my Latin correctly here, Aquafluentia, it must have something to do with water being fluid, adaptable, always in transition.
Precisely. Aquafluentia captures those transformative mediating qualities of water. It embodies the flow between states, the process of change, the power of connection. Just as water carves canyons and nourishes life, this realm is about the spaces in between, the constant flux and flow of existence.
Okay, okay. And lastly, we have terra fundus. Fundus immediately makes me think of fundamental. So we're talking about the earth as a foundation, providing structure and stability.
Exactly. Terra fundus is all about grounding, solidity, enduring structures. It's the very earth beneath our feet, the
Hmm.
mountains that have stood for millennia. It represents the steadfast, unwavering aspects of the
This
cosmos.
is incredible. We've got time, we've got knowledge, and now the core elements. It's like we're building this universe from the ground up, literally.
Quite literally, yes.
I can already see how these elemental realms are going to influence everything else that emerges in Yeivon. This is already so much more intricate than I imagined.
And we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
Wow.
There's so much more to uncover.
I can't wait. So we've laid down the foundation, explored these incredible concepts of time, knowledge, and the core elements. But I have a feeling Yeivon isn't just about like abstract concepts.
Right.
So where do we go from here? What's the next layer of this cosmic onion we're peeling back?
Time to delve into the realms that build upon these foundational concepts.
Okay.
And the first one we encounter is Sylv, which you mentioned earlier.
Sylph. Right. Okay. So from what I understand, it's not your typical walk in the woods, right?
No, not at all.
And it's considered a prototype of sorts.
You could say that.
Yeah.
You see, while the Eternal seems to have this grand, meticulous plan for the cosmos, the Eldest is a bit more experimental, driven by a desire to explore possibilities.
So a little bit of creative tension there.
Right.
Interesting. And Sills is a manifestation of that experimental spirit.
Precisely. The Eldest created Sylv as a sort of testing ground for the concept of life, but with a twist.
Okay, a twist. I like
Yeah.
it. Lay it on me.
Instead of vibrant colors and sunlight, imagine a world where sensory experience is completely different. Imagine seeing through touch.
Hold on. Seeing through touch. How does that even work?
Okay, picture this. Sylv is blanketed in this glistening, ethereal dew. And this dew isn't just some pretty visual effect, okay? It's the very medium through which the inhabitants of Sylv experience their world.
So instead of light hitting their eyes, they feel the dew on their skin.
In a way, yes. But imagine feeling colors, textures, shapes, all through these subtle variations in the dew's moisture, temperature, even its taste.
Wow. That's incredible. That is a completely different way of perceiving the world. It really makes you realize how limited our own senses can be.
It's true.
But I recall reading something about the inhabitants of Sylv being, I don't know, playful, yet potentially cruel.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very life
Well,
affirming.
that's the intriguing paradox of Sylv. You see, because it was a prototype, concepts like death and decay, they didn't initially exist there. The beings there, they were drawn to beauty, able to reshape themselves to reflect the beauty they sensed.
Right. But without understanding death, you can't truly understand the weight of your actions, right?
Exactly. Their actions could have unforeseen, even devastating consequences. Imagine a child playing with forces they don't fully comprehend. That's the essence of Sylv, beautiful, mesmerizing, but also tinged with this undercurrent of potential for unintended harm.
It's a fascinating exploration of the complexities of life, even in its prototypical form. But this tension between the eternal and the eldest, their contrasting approaches to creation, it feels like this recurring theme in Yeivon's history, doesn't it?
It most certainly is, and we see it come to a head once again in the realm of claroscura.
Claroscuro, right, the realm of light and darkness.
Mhm.
And if I remember correctly, it wasn't always a realm of duality, was it?
You're right. Originally, claroscura was a single unified realm where light and dark coexisted in perfect harmony.
Okay.
There was no separation, no conflict, just this primordial blend of contrasting forces.
It sounds strangely peaceful, yet also a bit, well, dim.
Perhaps. But then, the Eternal, in their pursuit of order and definition, they decided to split claroscura.
Really?
And this act gave rise to two new, very powerful entities. Lumos, the Light Lord, and Umbra, the Darkness Lord.
So before this point, light and dark, they were all intertwined, and then the Eternal just decided to separate them. Why? What was the purpose of that?
It's a question that has puzzled scholars for ages.
Right.
Some believe it was to establish a more defined order, a clear delineation between, what is known and unknown, seen and unseen.
It makes you think about the very nature of duality, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't have light without shadow, knowledge without mystery.
Right.
But dividing them like that, it feels symbolic somehow, like a philosophical statement about the nature of existence itself.
It really does.
Wow.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This division of Claroscura, this wasn't just some abstract cosmic event. It had profound consequences for the development of life, specifically in a realm known as Vitalysis.
Vitalysis, finally, a name that makes sense to my human brain.
Right.
We're talking about life here.
Precisely. Vitalysis was the original realm of life, pulsing with this vibrant energy.
Okay.
But its creation was directly influenced by the newly divided Claroscura.
So even though claroscura is about light and darkness, those concepts somehow played a role in the formation of life itself.
Absolutely. You see, when Claroscura was split, it didn't just create two separate realms, right?
Yeah.
It infused the cosmos with the very concepts of light and dark, creating a sort of cosmic template that other realms would echo and embody.
And Vitalysis was the first to reflect this newly established duality.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Within Vitalysis, there were these pockets of pure radiant life energy, but also these gaps, these spaces of potential where life could emerge.
Okay.
And guess what? Those gaps, those spaces of potential, they were aligned with the darkness of Claroscura,
Okay.
while the existing life energy resonated with the light.
So even in this realm of pure life, the legacy of claroscura, this separation of light and dark, it was still being expressed. It's like a ripple effect, influencing everything in its wake.
A very astute observation.
Like it,
But here's where things take an intriguing turn. Remember the eldest, always experimenting, always pushing the boundaries.
oh yeah.
Well, it seems the eldest wasn't entirely content with the Eternal's vision for Vitalysis.
Uh-oh. This sounds ominous. What did the eldest do?
Well, there was this being tasked with overseeing the potential for life in Vitalysis.
Okay.
Think of it as a shepherd of possibilities.
Okay.
The eldest, in their wisdom, or perhaps their mischief, decided to, shall we say, nudge this being in a different direction.
Nudge. What does that even mean in a cosmic sense?
Imagine taking the very essence of potential, the raw possibility of life, and twisting it, corrupting it, transforming it into something else, something that stands in direct opposition to life.
Wait, are we talking about death?
You guessed it. And with that single profound act, Vitalysis was forever changed, becoming the realm of Vitamortis. Those gaps that once held the promise of new life, they were now filled with death, decay, rot, and the being who was meant to guide potential became Mortis, the Decay Lord.
Wow. Talk about a fall from grace, or maybe a rise of decay. So instead of this pure radiant realm of life, we now have this cycle of life and death playing out in Vitamortis, forever intertwined.
Precisely. And this newly established cycle, it's mirrored in the roles of the lords within the realm. You have Vitalis, the life lord, tirelessly generating life energy and souls.
Right.
And then you have Gaia, the nature lord, who takes those souls and clothes them in physical forms, much like life forms in the mundane.
Wow. Incredible how this universe is becoming increasingly complex, with each realm interconnected and influencing the others. It's like this giant cosmic web with every thread connected.
It really is.
But something's been bugging me. We've talked about earth, air, water, but what about fire and cold?
Yeah.
Where did those essential elements fit into all of this?
That's where things get even more interesting. Fire and cold, they aren't confined to static realms, not like the ones we've been discussing so far.
Okay.
They exist as part of what we call the cosmotic realms.
Cosmotic realms. Okay, so we're going from bedrock to something a bit more dynamic, a little more chaotic, maybe.
In a way, yes. Think of the cosmotic realms as the next layer of this cosmic onion we keep talking about. They're built upon those foundational principles we explored in the pure gray realms, but they interact with the cosmos in a much more, shall we say, active way.
Active how? Give me some specifics here. What makes these realms so different?
All right. Take Ignivaga, the realm of fire, and Frigivaga, the realm of cold, for example. They don't stay put.
They don't. Okay, so not just realms within realms, but now we have moving realms. Or where do they go? Are we talking like a cosmic road trip here?
Think of them as wanderers, like nomadic realms drifting through the cosmos, influencing other realms with their respective elements. So Ignivaga, for example, might brush up against Air Levitas, right, stirring up these incredible firestorms. Or it could interact with terra fundus, causing volcanic eruptions, the kind that reshape the very landscape.
Wow, so Ignivaga is like that friend who shows up unannounced, tunes up the heat, shakes things up, and then just moves on to the next adventure.
That's one way to put it. And then you have Frigga which brings a very different kind of energy. It's not about explosive change, but rather a slowing down, a stillness, a chilling presence.
Okay, so if Ignivaga is like the life of the party, Friggivaga is the strong, silent type, the one who makes everyone pause and pay attention when they enter the room.
Precisely. Imagine Frigga drifting near Aquafluencia, freezing the waters, locking them in place. Or picture it blanketing Sylve in this layer of frost, temporarily like muting those vibrant sensory experiences we talked about earlier.
Wow. It's just it's incredible how much thought and detail has gone into creating this
Mm.
universe. Like every concept, every element, it all has its place, its purpose. It's really amazing.
It's quite a tapestry.
It really is.
Mm.
But, we've danced around it for a while now, and I have to ask, what about the mundane, that realm that's been mentioned a few times now? It sounds a lot like, well, our world, doesn't it?
You're right. The mundane is where we assume beings like us might exist. And you're also right to point out that the sources we're working with, they're rather vague about its exact connection to these other realms. It's almost as if the very act of observing the mundane from the perspective of the cosmos, it makes it difficult to perceive clearly.
Interest. It's like trying to study like a delicate snowflake up close. The closer you get, the more you risk disturbing it, changing it simply by observing it.
An apt analogy. The mundane remains one of the great mysteries within the cosmology of Yeivon. We know it's connected to these other realms, that it's influenced by them and perhaps even influences them in return, but the specifics of that connection, they remain tantalizingly out of reach, I'm afraid.
Okay, so we've got all of these like beautifully defined realms, each with its own purpose, its own energy. And then there's the mundane, familiar, yet strangely elusive, almost like a reflection in a distorted mirror. It's endlessly fascinating.
It certainly raises more questions than it answers, wouldn't you say?
As the most intriguing deep dives always do.
Mm.
So before we lose ourselves in the mysteries of the mundane, I'm curious, after exploring all of this, what stands out to you most about Lee Evans' cosmology? What really makes it tick?
That's a great question. I think what strikes me the most is how this fictional universe, as intricate and fantastical as it is, it still manages to reflect our own human understanding of the world. The interplay of elements, the tension between order and chaos, the exploration of life, death, everything in between. It's almost as if the creators of Yeivon took the very questions we grapple with as humans and wove them into the fabric of this universe.
That's what I find so captivating about exploring fictional universes like this. It's like holding up a mirror to our own reality, but with the edges blurred just enough to make us question, to make us wonder. And in the case of Lee Yvonne, with those wandering realms, that enigmatic mundane, well, it leaves me with one final provocative thought. If the cosmonic realms are indeed shaped by concepts that emerge from the mundane, then what other realms might exist out there, hidden within this intricate tapestry of this universe? What other concepts, still unexplored, might give rise to entirely new forms of existence, of cosmic energy, of reality itself? That, my friend, is something I'll leave you to ponder. Until next time, keep diving.